This video is brought to you by Answerly, a question platform that pays you for adding high-quality answers on different questions. The users are rewarded in Answerly tokens, which they can easily convert into dollars or any other cryptocurrency by using one of the exchanges mentioned in the description.
The legacy of From Software's Soul series is not defined just by the amazing games that it's made up of, but also the subgenre that has been given life thanks to its very existence, the Souls-like. To celebrate this subgenre, we've rounded up our top 15 favorite Souls-like games of all time. Hello and welcome back to our YouTube channel. In today's video, we will check out the top 15 best upcoming Souls-like games in December 2021. If you're new here, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell to get the updates whenever we post. Let's start with the most obvious pick, Elden Ring. Obviously, the Souls-like game that most people are most excited about is the game being made by the people that made the genre. How much Elden Ring will abide by Souls-like design philosophies remains to be seen, but the potential of the game is incredibly exciting. From Software's level design is some of the best in the entire industry, so to see that being applied to an open world in a setting built on the writing of none other than George R.R. Martin is a mouth-watering prospect. A-Tier. Indie developers Anime Entertainment's action RPG A-Tier has been in development for several years now, but every time we look at it, we can't help but be excited. On top of a beautiful pixel art aesthetic and what's looking like varied combat with multiple different kinds of weapons to use, A-Tier will also feature a unique progression system that will allow players the choice between long-term growth and fleeting yet impactful perks. It is an interesting concept, and we're hoping to learn more about the game soon. Sands of Aura. Sands of Aura puts players in the role of a member of the Order of Remnant Knights, a group trying to protect what remains of the sand-covered world of Talamil. Players sail across the sea of sand to various islands, defeating whatever foes they come across. The 30-minute demo takes place in the ruins of Horwell, one of the earlier islands in the game that used to be a vertical kingdom. However, since the world has been covered by sand, players only have access to its peaks. Black Myth: Wukong. Black Myth: Wukong is an upcoming action RPG focusing on traditional Chinese folklore that has gained traction since its surprise announcement last year. This is the first large-scale project from Chinese indie developer Game Science, and it looks incredibly ambitious. So much so that Game Science founder Feng Ji wants viewers to forget the footage that was revealed, as it was intended to attract developers to join his studio and feels it does not represent the team's best work. Pascals Wager Definitive Edition. If you're unfamiliar with the terms of Pascal's Wager, it goes thus. Believing in God is better than not believing, because if you don't believe and God is real, you'll be punished. Whereas if you do believe and God doesn't exist, you've lost nothing. It's a thorny philosophical issue that has many refutations and analysis, but more importantly is also the name of a 2020 Souls-like release on mobile devices. Now it's making its way to Steam in the form of Pascal's Wager Definitive Edition, giving PC gamers everywhere the chance to check it out. Sand is the Soul. Sand is the Soul is an adventure game mixed with combat and RPG elements. Venture through the decaying Victorian post-punk autonomy of Cross Hill. Fulfill your mission as a diplomatic messenger with an attaché of utmost importance, or not. You can choose to go AWOL, take part in a coup d'etat, be a junkie addicted to the sand, get killed by an angry lover, screw everyone and overthrow the ruler and become a despot, and much, much more. Your actions will define your tale, so choose wisely, for at no point will the game judge your actions. Depending on the ending you achieve, you will be rewarded with cheats you can use in the new Game Plus mode. Hollow Knight Silksong. Play as Hornet, Princess Protector of Hollow Nest, and adventure through a whole new kingdom ruled by Silk and Song. Captured and brought to this unfamiliar world, Hornet must battle foes and solve mysteries as she ascends on a deadly pilgrimage to the kingdom's peak. Hollow Knight Silksong is the epic sequel to Hollow Knight, the award-winning action-adventure. As the lethal hunter Hornet, journey to all new lands, discover new powers, battle vast hordes of bugs and beasts, and uncover ancient secrets tied to your nature and your past. There are a lot of unknown factors still, but Silksong has the potential to be even better than the original. Bleak Faith Forsaken. Bleak Faith Forsaken is a third-person open-world survivor horror action RPG set in a universe you've never experienced before. Play as one of the Forsaken, the last frontier of humanity against the growing horrors of the Omnistructure. As you find yourself stranded in a faraway outpost, you must adapt in order to survive. The world won't wait for you though, you must venture into the unknown. Your faith will decide your fate. Feel the burden of surviving in one of the last remaining outposts of the Forsaken, a legion of hunters condemned to protect the last vestige of humanity. The nature of your purpose, however, is shrouded in mystery, and as you delve deeper into the manifold halls of the Omnistructure, you will come to find the true meaning of alienation, isolation, and dread. Eldest Souls. Despite having a name that would make a copyright lawyer sweat, this overtly From Software-inspired action game manages to establish its own blend of addictive, brutal combat and gorgeous art direction that rivals its 2D and 3D peers. It doesn't mirror their same sense of exploration, but if a Souls-like focused almost exclusively on boss battles sounds great to you, well, look no further. Eldest Souls' artistic and narrative influences aren't so much worn on its sleeve as they are written on a signboard draped around its body. Borrowing heavily from Dark Souls' infamous intro, it establishes a world where men and gods came into being at the same time, but mortals eventually found themselves subjugated thanks to the machinations of a god named Exile. Dolmen. If the name sounds familiar, it's because Dolmen was successfully kickstarted back in 2018. Indie developer Massive Work presented the game at a preview event VG247 attended. Showing a few minutes of gameplay, Dolmen is a challenging game with stamina-based combat, environmental puzzles, and big boss fights. The game offers both melee and ranged combat, with players free to spec into one over the other or create a hybrid between the two. Souls players will be familiar with the game's beacon system, essentially bonfires and a mechanic that causes players to drop their fragments upon death, which can be retrieved on the following run. No Place for Bravery. No Place for Bravery is an action RPG about an old soldier racing to save his kidnapped daughter in a devastated fantasy world inspired by Norse mythology. It promises an equal emphasis on narrative and action, combining fast-paced combat with a story of a man plagued by nightmares who embarks upon a quest to save his family, a journey that will force him to confront the decisions of his ambitious past. It was originally intended to be a roguelike, yes Brid said, but Brazilian developer Glitch Factory opted to take it in a more story-focused direction that more closely follows their vision and inspirations. Lords of the Fallen 2. Lords of the Fallen 2 is a sequel to 2014's Lords of the Fallen, a fantasy action RPG that pits you against the demonic Rogar Legion. You have the choice of playing as a warrior, cleric, or rogue, each of which has their own skill sets to leverage against the demonic hordes. Timisia. Timisia is being developed by Teen 17, an indie games label that made a name for itself with the Worms series of games. The game puts players in the role of Corvus, a mysterious character who must traverse a world that's not unlike that of the one that you find yourself immersed in Dark Souls and Bloodborne. Lies of P. The story of Lies of P revolves around Mecha Pinocchio waking up to a note telling him to find his creator, Mr. Geppetto. For some reason, doing so involves fighting against all sorts of machinations throughout the ruins of the city of Krat. The game will also let you alter Pinocchio's body to gain new skills and craft weapons to better fight off all the enemies. Moonray. Moonray will take the Souls-like genre to a relatively unexplored area in space, with a combat system that seems geared towards more hack-and-slash than the typically defense-oriented gameplay featured in most Souls-like games. In Moonray, players take control of a golem that's been created by a deity to help end a mysterious cult. The story was written by Grim Wilkins with a soundtrack from Lithuanian 10 Walls, so we know that both are going to be good. Well, there you have it, the top 15 best upcoming Souls-like games in December 2021 that will knock your socks off. And that will be it for today's video, guys. Let us know what you think about these upcoming games in the comment section below.
If you like this video, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to this channel. To learn more about Answerly and Answerly tokens, check out the links in the description.